Welcome, guys. Welcome to this second part of our tutorial of this Django series. In the previous video we introduced you to Django and we set up our first project. I'm gonna pull it up now. Yeah, our first project, which we called my project over here. So in today's video, we're gonna dive into the basics of Django and we're gonna start building our first app. My name is Light, and let's get started. So, before we start creating our first app, I'm going to explain to you what a project and what an app mean in Django. So, in Django, a project is a collection of settings and configurations, which include database configuration, settings that are specific to Django, and settings that are specific to Django apps. So, it's just like the main settings for our application. While a Django app is a web application that does something. For example, it could be a blog app or it could be an e-commerce app. So a Django project can contain multiple apps and each app does a specific thing well. So remember, a Django project can contain multiple apps and multiple apps can stay or reside in a single Django project, just vice versa, like so. So now I've given you a brief definition of what a Django project is and a Django app is. Let us move forward in creating our first Django application. So for us to create our first Django application, we have to move into our terminal. I'm using the integrated terminal that comes with VS Code. So I'm going to pull it up using the control and tilde function, tilde keywords rather. Let me clear up this terminal. So I'll pull it up. As you can see, I'm into this my project directory, which is this. I'm into this directory here called my projects. So this is where I'm gonna create. This is where we're gonna create our first Django app. So for us to create our first Django app, we use the command Python. Hope I spell it correctly. Python manage. What the hell? Manage.py start app. We're gonna call the app new app. New app. And click on enter. Great. As we can see, Django creates a folder for us, which is the name of the app we created, new app. So we're gonna look into it. This new app comes with its own folders and some files, as you can see here. You have the migration folder, you have the init.py file, we have the admin, apps, models, tests, and views. So I'm gonna briefly run you through what each of these files does. So we have the init.py file. This file is usually empty, but you can add your package initialization code in it. This file here enables us to import modules from this particular directory, which is this new app here. You can import modules within this directory. Secondly, we have the admin.py file. This is the file that we use to register our Django models. So, and we can manage them through Django built-in admin interface. We'll get to see that admin interface as we move further. Just know that this is where we register our Django models. Now, this third file is called the apps.py file. This file contains configuration for the app. just like the app name. As you can see here, just the name of the app is given here. New. The next is the models.py file. This is the file where you define your models. So models are Python classes that define the structure of your database tables and handle the data interaction. Just like the ORM, Object Relation Mapper, that I discussed in the previous video. This is where this is the file is going to handle that for us. Tests.py, this is where we write tests for our application. Views.py, one of the important files in this Django application. This is where we're going to handle the logic of our web pages or web application. So little by little, gradually, we're going to see how these different files come into play. We also have migration. This is for the database schema, changes made in the database. It has its own .py file. So there's one other file which is very important in creating an app, which we'll create in the future or very soon. So with this file admin, models, and views, and that other file, we can comfortably create a full-fledged web application. So these files are very much important to build a web application. Now we set up our Django app. We need to tell Django that, hey, Django, there's a new app that we created. Because as it stands now, Django has no idea of this new app that we need. So for us to do so, we go to our projects directory, my project directory over here, and move on to the settings.py file. As you can see, we have a bunch of settings here. Let me close up the terminal. So we have a bunch of settings and configuration here that affect our whole Django application. So for us to let Django know about this new app we've created, we add the name of the new app in this list with a variable name called installed apps. So this is where we're going to add the new app we created. So after this django.contrib.static files will include the name of our new app. So new app, like so, in a string. Good. Now Django knows about this new app. Alright. So the next thing we're gonna do, let's move on to start writing our first view, our first code. So in the new app, we move on to the views.py. This is where we're gonna write our first view. As you can see, there's a code that is already there for us from Django.shortcut import render. Don't worry, we're gonna be using this code more often. So for us to create our first view, we have to import a package. So I'm gonna say from Django.http import http response. I'm gonna explain what this means in a bit. Also, I'm gonna create a simple simple Python function. Call it index. I'm passing a parameter called request, and it's gonna return a HTTP response saying hello world. Awesome. So we've written our first view in Django. Congratulations. So let me give you an overview of what this code does. So we're importing HTTP response here from this Django.http. HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol, which is the foundation of data communication on the web. It defines how the web servers and how our browsers should respond to various commands. So HTTP response here is a class that is used to create a HTTP response. So when a client or web browser sends a request to your Django web application, the server processes this request and sends back a HTTP response. So when your browser sends A, it sent I need a page from the server is going to respond with a response or a HTTP response. So this response can be HTML, can be JSON format, and also it can be in plain text format. Now, the next thing we're going to do, we're going to create that file that I said we're going to create earlier in our new app. The name of the file is called urls.py. So let's go over to a new file, to our app, and create a new file here. Call it urls.py. This is where we're going to create our URLs. When I mean URL, I meant, for example, if you want to go to google.com, Google, what the google.com, what is wrong with me? So let's say this is the URL for google.com. This URL will take you to their home page. Now, if you want to log in, you can use the / login to log into your account if you create an account there. You can also use the / sign up just to create your new account in Google. So this is the page, or this is the file that we're going to use to create our own URL, our special URL for web application. Great. Now for us to do that, we're going to import some things within Django from Django. So the first thing we're going to import is from Django.urls. It's a dot, not a comma. .urls. Import path. We're going to import path first. Secondly, we're going to import the view we just created earlier. The view here. So from this dot, when you click the dot here, it means you're trying to access all the files within this your new app here. So you can access all the files. As you can see here, URLs, apps, admin, models, tests, and views. So we're trying to access the files here. So the one we need is the view. So from that dot, we're gonna import our view. Great. Now let us start mapping out our first URL. First, we're gonna create a variable called URL patterns, which is what is required of from Django. Anytime you're trying to create a URL, you must include this variable called URL patterns, and it's a list. It's gonna be a list of URLs. So to create our first URL, we use the path. Then we're gonna be an empty string. I'll tell you why later. Then we call the views.py. Sorry, views.index. The name of the view we created dot index, and then an optional name just for reference. I'm also gonna call it index. So this whole thing here, or especially this, you've created a URL, just like what I explained before. What I said, like google.com. I don't know what's wrong with me. Google.com login or sign up. So this is how you create such URL. Great. We use an empty string. This empty string means we're on the home page. Now I'm going to explain this to you how it works. And we're calling this our view. here, this view we created here, we're calling it, and then an optional name. Now the last thing we need to do is to map, is to add this our new app into the project level url.py file. My project here has a urls.py file that comes by default when you created it initially. So we need to add this my app, this our new app urls to this main urls file. So for us to do that, we need to add include. We need to also import include, which we're going to use to include our new app URLs. So, and then path, still an empty string, then include in a string the name of our new app, which is new app, then dot urls. Great, awesome. This is how we're going to create our first Django view. So we are making sure that this new app is recognized within Django. First of all, we added it in our installed apps, and secondly, we added it in the URLs. Yeah. So let us test things out here. We're going to check out, let me pull up a terminal, and I'm going to run the server, python manage.py run server. Okay, great. Our server is up and running. And you must have noticed this text that I read color. This has to do with database, so don't worry for now. We're going to address it later. So we're going to navigate to this URL here, and what do you know? We have our hello world here. Remember, it's the hello world that we created from this view here. Sorry, let me put this down. This is the hello world. This is the HTTP response. Our browser is saying, hey, server, give me this page and whatever content that is into this page. So you send a request, and our server is saying, all right, this is what you're gonna get. Hello world, the HTTP response. Now, I said I'm gonna explain something. So as you can see, this is our URL here, just like google.com. If I say forward slash, let me say index, I'm gonna get an error. Now this is the page. Whenever you run into an error, mostly you always see this page, and it's gonna describe the kind of error you get in Django. Now it's saying page not found. Using the URL conf defined in my project.urs, Django tried these URL patterns in this order. It tried admin, it tried name equals to index, which is this. Django is checking the top level URL. It tried this admin, it didn't match with index. You also tried this our URL here, which in turn connects this app URL. So in a sense, Django is trying this further URL and doesn't match. That's why it gives us a page error. Now if I put index here, and a forward slash, what's going to happen? Let's check it out. Over to the web browser, I'm going to refresh. And what do you know? We have hello world. So I hope you get the point. Forward slash index. This is just like the URL like I tried to explain before. If I remove this index and move to the browser again, refresh, I get page not found. But if I remove index from here and click on enter, I get my hello world greeting. So I hope you understand that. This is just like your URL. You can put whatever you want. You can see the home page, home. You move to the browser, you refresh. Nope. Then, sorry, we add home, and yes, we get it. So that's how you set up URLs in Django. So far so good. Let me try to explain this again. When you visit a URL like this, when you visit a URL like this, the browser sends a HTTP GET request to the server. It's trying to say, hey server, get me a particular page. And then this URL, Django is going to check out this URL to see which of them matches the request that the browser is trying to send. If any of it matches, this URL is going to check out the view here, which is this view called index, and it's going to pull out whatever this view has. For now, this view is returning a HTTP response, which is hello world. With that, the server is going to send back this response to the browser, and the browser is going to show the page to the user. So I hope this is understood. So far, so good. This is where we're going to stop for today. We've learned a lot. We've created our first app. We've added a simple view and we've mapped our URL to it. So in the next video, we're going to dive into Django models and database. So if you like the video so far, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the notification icon so you can receive latest content. So once again, thanks for watching and chase your dreams.